Episode number 361. Then Milady collected all her energies, murmuring in the depths of her soul the name of Felton, the only beam of light that penetrated her in the hell into which she had fallen, and like a serpent, which folds and unfolds its rings to ascertain its strength, she enveloped Felton beforehand in the thousand meshes of her inventive imagination. Time, however, passed away. The years, one after another, seemed to awaken the clock as they passed, and every blow of the brass hammer resounded upon the heart of the prisoner. At 9 o'clock, Lord de Winter made his customary visit, examined the window and the bars, sounded the floor and the walls, looked to the chimney and the doors. Without, during this long and minute examination, he Milady pronouncing a single word. Doubtless both of them understood that the situation had become too serious to lose time in useless words and aimless wrath. "Well," said the Baron, "on leaving her, you will not escape tonight." At 10 o'clock Felton came and placed the sentinel. Milady recognized his step. She was as well acquainted with it now as a mistress is with that of the lover of her heart, and yet Milady at the same time detested and despised this weak fanatic. That was not the appointed hour. Felton did not enter. 2 hours after, as midnight sounded, the sentinel was relieved. This time it was the hour, and from this moment Milady waited with impatience. The new sentinel commenced his walk in the corridor. At the expiration of 10 minutes Felton came. Milady was all attention. "Listen," said the young man to the sentinel. "On no pretense leave the door, for you know that last night my lord punished a soldier for having quit his post for an instant, although I, during his absence, watched in his place." "Yes, I know it," said the soldier. "I recommend you therefore to keep the strictest watch. For my part I am going to pay a second visit to this woman, who I fear entertains sinister intentions upon her own life, and I have received orders to watch her." "Good," murmured Milady. "The austere Puritan lies." As to the soldier, he only smiled. "Zounds, Lieutenant," said he, "you are not unlucky in being charged with such commissions, particularly if my lord has authorized you to look into a bed." Felton blushed. Under any other circumstances he would have reprimanded the soldier for indulging in such pleasantry, but his conscience murmured too loud for his mouth to dare speak. "If I call, come," said he. "If anyone comes, call me." "I will, Lieutenant," said the soldier. Felton entered Milady's apartment. Milady arose. "You are here," said she. "I promised to come," said Felton, "and I have come." "You promised me something else." "What, my God?" said the young man, who in spite of his self-command felt his knees tremble and the sweat start from his brow.